Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Irrelevant, and welcome back to Mr. Irrelevant Plays. As you can see, I'm currently flying around with the Odyssey. I was going to be doing a video on the Legendary Sovereign yesterday after the announcement of the new event ship, but then I was like, wait a minute, didn't I already do a video on the Legendary Sovereign? And then I looked and I was like, yep, I did. So that, I literally did was like 20 plus minutes into the recording already. And realized that yeah, I already did that. So today the video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be talking about all the energy types. Which one's my favorite? Which ones do I think are good? Which ones do I think are worth going into? Which ones are easy to get into, and so on. And I know most people are going to say, "Oh, Phaser and Disruptor, they're the easiest." You're right. You're not wrong. But I would also like to argue that Anti-Proton is, I would say, is just as easy. Even though Anti-Proton isn't as strong as it used to be, like it was back in the day. It's still an easy energy type to get into. So I'm going to go down the list, starting with my favorite. And I mean my favorite energy type in this game. And then going down the list as, each one, how to get them, up there, and like what you can do to get them good. So, my favorite is Tetrion. Believe it or not, Tetrion is my favorite energy type in this game. It's just my favorite. I love the way that it looks. I love the effects on it. Currently, I'm using just diffusive Tetrion, which is not the best Tetrion in the game. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, the best Tetrion in the game is Tetrion that you can get for free from a Nucara rep. And it's the Refracting Tetrion. Why do I think this is the best? Well, let's read his effect. To target, minus 2.5% chance to minus 529 damage to all shields, and to target, 2.5% chance to take Tetrion damage to the next nearest enemy target. So what does that mean? Well, think of it like the Baul Anti-Proton, where it is constantly like reflecting and going off and hitting everything, around your ship, or around the enemy ship, it hitting, their neighbors. This is the predecessor. Now, is Tetrion really strong? Oh, I mean, yeah, if you spec into it, absolutely. And the best way to do it is with the Tholian set that they did for the event. I'll give reasons as to why. One, the 2-piece set increases critical chance, critical severity with just Tetrion weapons, which is huge. Plus, the Warp Core gives those crystals, and if you're running the 3-piece, which is something I'd recommend, you generate way more crystals. So the way that I would do it is run the Warp Core, the shields, and the console. If you have the Pav and Omni Beam, do that. But if you don't have the Pav and Omni Beam, then just run the entire set. Because there you go. It's a fantastic set, and that's literally basically all you need with Tetrion. You could go a step further and run the diffusive Tetrion set, like I was showing before, with the ones that I currently own. Generally, diffusive Tetrion is the one that people go for. But when it comes to this, the 2-piece set gives you projectile damage, shield resistance, but then it also 3-piece gives you increased Tetrion damage, which is also good. Other notable weapon sets is going to be the Nucara Reputation weapon set. The dual beam itself is absolutely fantastic, and there's an anti-proton variant, so you can even add that, which it also does the you know, it just hits a random target next to it. So this one is guaranteed. So if you are going to be running, you know, Tetrion, I would highly, highly recommend at least, you know, getting this dual beam. The console is also really good. It's a good combination for science builds as well. Like if you're doing a hybrid build would be really good as well. But the set itself increases Tetrion damage passively as well with the 2-piece set bonus. Next, I'm going to say my second favorite energy type, believe it or not, is Proton. And yes, it is still brand new. And yes, I currently am running my Proton build on my Lexington. Before, let me think. Before this latest lockbox came out that added the Ethereum Proton weapons, I did everything I could to find a way to make Proton fun before it even came out. So I was running things like these ships, the new ones, running their consoles. Because their consoles, believe it or not, are really good at boosting proton damage. And also the only like proton style weapon that we had is from the Dyson rep with the experimental weapon. Now, even with that, like this weapon and this weapon set is still extremely good. Really strong. But if you're going for a pure proton build, I wouldn't recommend running it because I found that my DPS is better without it. But with that being said, if you really wanted to, you could easily run this 3-piece instead of the Pavin 3-piece. Just switch it to like the 2-piece with the Omni Beam and console. Then you could, you know, switch things around. Put the Dyson torpedo on here, put the experimental weapon up front, put the console somewhere back here, and your console slot, and you would have a really mean setup. But unfortunately, when it comes to boosting proton damage, there's not very many things. It's just the Pavin weapon set, the Dyson weapon set, the Dyson ship consoles, and the lockbox console. Which I don't even think it even boosts proton damage. It doesn't boost proton damage, it just does proton damage. But it's still a good console to have and run with any build anyway. Onward to the next energy type. Yeah, this one's a little hard because, like, I like all the all the energy types. Like, I know how to build each one and do really good with it. I would have to say, if I were to choose a number 3, it would have to be Polaron. And Polaron, believe it or not, is super simple to spec into. It really is. All you need is the weapon set from a particular story mission. This one, which I can't show you the rewards because I currently have it turned on due to the fact that endeavors. Excuse me. Here it is. The morphogenic proton set. And yes, you will want to run all 3 pieces. And the way that this set works is, if you read the, oh gosh, I actually have to equip the set. Give me one moment. There you are. Alright, so let's get into it. Why would I recommend running the entire set instead of just, you know, 1 piece or 2 pieces or whatever? The reason being is 3-piece set. Beam fire at will or beam overload. 2% critical chance, max 6%, so it stacks. And it lasts 45 seconds, so if you have your setup correctly, you can literally spam this. Scatter volley or rapid fire with the build that I'm currently doing. Guess what? I'm running rapid fire on my build. You gain a 10% critical severity with maximum 30%. And then torp spread, high yield, mine pattern alpha or mine pattern beta. you gain weapon damage of 7.5%, maximum 22.5%. This is literally the only set that you need if you're going into Proton. I mean, not Proton, Polaron. I love Polaron. It is super fun. Now, which Polaron would I recommend to use as a free-to-play player? Or if you really want to have, fun with it, I would say go to available. And go to, where does that one mission?
Karakan's ships are guarding the wormhole, so access is limited.
Oh, not that one.
Karakan's ships are guarding the wormhole, so access. The Federation Council has
I know it's
authorized
one of
the release
these.
of the founder from the detention facility where she. We've evacuated everyone we could to Bajor. By now, you've faced the Borg. The collective is appearing with more frequency in the Alpha Quadrant.
Did they remove it? Oh dear, I think that they removed it. Hold on, let me see. Hold the phone. There is a mission that gives you... Oh, not that. Wait, that had anti-proton, is it? Okay. Oh, and here it is. It's Boldly They Rode. Dominion Polaron, and you can even get dual cannons. If you want to get fun with it, I'd say get this one. Because, like, literally no one ever uses it, and the only way to get it is during this mission. Unfortunately, there's no dual beam. So that's, disappointing. So you'll have to do this mission, I would say, at least 3 times for the single beams if you want to do a setup like mine. But then for, the cannons, and run it, like, 4, I would say, because there is a, Polaron quad cannon, if you want to go the cannon route. But if you don't want to do this mission, because, doing missions, especially this one, kind of is frustrating. A basic Polaron works just as good, but if you really want to go super hard with it, in my personal opinion, there are 2 Polarons that I label as the best. One of them is free to get and is insanely strong, and it just so happens to come from your reputation. Now, which reputation would I be looking at? Oh, it just so happens I'm already on it. The Dyson reputation. Why would I choose this one over any other Polaron? Well, let's go ahead and read its effect. To target, 2.5% chance to lose 37.5 all current power levels, which is actually kind of huge. And then to target, a 25% chance for targets that are non-Voth to take 345.3 proton damage. Now, this is just at Mark 12. All very rare. At Epic, I'm pretty sure it's a little different. 2 Voth targets, which we all know how frustrating fighting Voth is, it does double damage. In my personal opinion, the Protonic Polaron is the best Polaron in the game. The second best Polaron in the game, I'm going to give to Vodawar. I don't know what it is about Vodawar, it just hits really hard. It's really strong. It has a 2.5% chance to reduce enemy shield hardness by 10% versus energy weapons, and by 50% for kinetic weapons. Excuse me, kinetic weapons. So slapping these on and running like a, a Maelstrom torpedo that does kinetic, I mean, their shields will literally get disintegrated. When it comes to reputation for Proton, to get the 2% bonus auto damage and reputations at max, I mean, you got the advanced temporal dual cannons along with the single beam. Same thing with the Paizo Polaron. Paizo or Paizo, or however you want to call it, is really good at like survivability. So even having this on there, if you want to like give yourself a little bit of survivability, is also really, really good. Like I said, they do have a quad cannon. I can't remember which ship it comes off of, but I know it's one of the Jem'Hadar ships, which I happen to own all of them. I want to say that I can't remember which one has a quad cannon, but if the energy type has a quad cannon and you're running a dual heavy cannon build, do the quad cannon. Absolutely do the quad cannon. Quad cannon is just really, really good. Only reason why I didn't mention quad cannons for Tetrion or Proton is because Proton is still brand new in terms of being a fully utilized like energy type, and Tetrion just never got one. So let's go on to the next one. So we have all that's remaining is Anti-Proton, Phaser, Disruptor, and wait. Oh my gosh, my brain literally just had a hiccup. Plasma. Which one would I put right under Polaron? So number 1, Tetrion. Number 2, Proton. Number 3, Tetrion. Number 4. I guess the remaining energy types will just be based on my mood. Those are my top 3. So the rest of them, honestly, I kind of like equally. So I'll just go down the list. I know that a lot of people love Anti-Proton, so I'm going to go to Anti-Proton. Now, Anti-Proton is not that difficult to spec into. With how, like, the game is, you can easily make it just as strong as any other energy type, especially since, you know, it's primarily universal consoles. But if you're going the ISO-Mag route, just grab a bunch of ISO-Mags of Anti-Proton. The minimum I would say you should run is 4. You can easily run as many as you want. Still works. Just you have to keep in mind diminishing returns. And just boost up your anti-proton damage to the max. Now, where would I rank the anti-proton in terms of strongest to weakest? Well, the weakest, I unfortunately am going to say, is Baul. But keep in mind, you can still break 1,000,000 with Baul anti-proton very easily. For those that like, you know, chasing DPS. Not saying that it's weak. It's not weak. It is still extremely strong. It's just out of all of the variants that you have access to... Actually, wait, no. This isn't the weakest anti-proton. I'm sorry. The, I want to say the temporal anti-proton is actually the weakest. Out of all of the anti-protons. They do look cool, I think. But I think that they're like the weakest, because all they do is give you flight speed and turn rate along with shield resistance, so they're more for, like, tanking. And then Voth anti-proton, that's also more utilized for, like, tanking and stuff. So it's not the weakest. So let me rephrase. It's not the weakest. Voth and Temporal I would label as, like, the weakest, along with Radiant, which is also Reputation, which is also, like, weakest, because all it really does gives you... It's more for survivability, but one thing that Radiant does do, at least for the weapon set... it has a proc of 2 self, 3% firing cycle haste for 6 seconds for this weapon. I don't know if it applies to all Radiant. I would have to look into that. Go ahead and see. That comes from the Iconian Resistance, which I don't even remember what this looks like. I might have to do a thing. Nope, it's just for the Reputation, it looks like. So this, yeah, this is just 2.5% chance for 1,000 temporary hit points for 15 seconds, can stack up to 5 times. So you really would only would want to run one of these. Which, if you are, Reputation is going to be your best option. Because it has that fire cycle haste proc. Alright, so... Which anti-proton would I label to be the strongest? In my personal opinion, and this is just from me doing tests years ago, my personal opinion, the strongest is Delphic. Unfortunately, Delphic anti-proton is a lockbox weapon, and it's extremely expensive. The second strongest anti-proton in the game, in my personal opinion, is Herald, which unfortunately is also lockbox, which is also unfortunately extremely expensive. And on paper, keep in mind, this is just paper, I would put Fluidic as this third strongest because it has a 2.5% chance to do repel and physical damage, which ignores shields by 100%. The only reason why I'm saying on paper I'd put this at number 3 is because the results are varied. There are times where basic anti-proton ends up doing more because you gain an extra, I think, like 20% critical damage. Or is it 10%? It's one of the two. I think it's an extra 20%. So if you're running anti-proton beams with damage slash critical damage times 4 with pen, then you're gaining 100% critical severity. Where weapons that, oh no, 80% critical severity. No, yeah, 100% critical severity where normal weapons don't get that buff. So it's basically you're just tossing a coin between fluidic and basic anti-proton. And that's basically like my ranking. And then right underneath that would be Bowel. And then the rest follow suit. So when it comes to anti-proton, Bowel, Delphic, Basic, and Herald are the ones that I would recommend the most. The only reason why I'm not recommending Fluidic is because it's basically like a coin toss. I absolutely love Fluidic. As you can see, I have a lot of Fluidic stuff. I mean, a lot of Fluidic stuff. I was planning on doing a turret build that's based on Fluidic Anti-Proton because the Fluidic Anti-Proton kind of has like a visual bug. And I find it funny. So, spec into Anti-Proton, in terms of weapon sets, it's, unless you did some events, it's primarily reputation. You had the Iconian, excuse me, the Iconian resistance weapon set, which is anti-proton based. You have the temporal weapon set, which is anti-proton based. I'm pretty sure those are the only two. Technically speaking, the competitive war games does have a anti-proton set. However, keep in mind, it's not that good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not really good. The only reason why I would run it is just to get that 2% bonus all damage. But when it comes to weapon set omni beams, I mean, you have the gosh dang it. You have the Pavin omni beam. If you didn't do the event, then you can easily get it on Muds Market when there is a sale. Remember, only get stuff from the Muds Market when there is a sale. And if you also did another event, you have another weapon set that you got for free called the Kidez Control Anti-Proton Beam. This weapon set's actually pretty good. I run its console a lot, actually. Reason why I like running its console is because it gives you 47.3% anti-proton damage, plus 5 current maximum hull, plus 5 current and maximum all subsystem power, 105% power transfer rate, and minus 15% power weapon cost, which is huge. You can literally just run this console by itself on any build that you want, and you will notice a difference. It's so strong. I love this console. It's a really, really, really good weapon set. You can get it in Muds Market, if I remember correctly. Base items, there we go. There's a few in here that I'm going to point out. So this right here is the Tholian set that I was talking about. If you don't have this set, even if you're not planning on going into Tetrion, I highly recommend getting this set. This warp core is the best warp core in the game. Whether you're running science, energy, weapon damage, doesn't matter. This is the best warp core in the game. I highly recommend getting it. This set is insanely good. But wait for a sale, please. The Kittimer set is a really good set to also spec into. Also with anti-proton because it's also really good. The Pavin weapon set is right here. You can also get this one as well if you don't already have it. Okay, so apparently this weapon set is not is not on here yet. Keyword being yet. It will eventually. But yes, when it comes to like the sets I'm talking about, Crystal Harmonic set is on here. The Pavo Space set is on here. Definitely must gets, but wait for them to put it on sale, please. Not stressed out enough, wait for a sale. That's only if you are willing to, of course, spend money. Alright, so onward to the next energy type. After antiproton, let's go ahead and talk about plasma. Now, plasma has literally been a roller coaster in this game. A very long time ago, it was the meta after basic anti-proton reigning supreme for such a long time. It did take the spot for a short time. It took the spotlight again with the Viridian plasma, which now the Viridian plasma is no longer considered the best plasma in the game. It's still extremely good, do not get me wrong, and I would still say use it because, one, they look good and they're great to play and great to use. However, I have a hard time deciding which is the best plasma because I have fun with all of them. I love the Viridian plasma, I love the isolytic plasma, and I absolutely love the assimilated plasma. Now, I have a special kind of appreciation for assimilated plasma. Yes, its proc is not the greatest at 2.5% chance, which I've already talked about this before. I think the 2.5% chance should be increased to like 5% for all of them because 2.5% doesn't proc enough. But it restores Hall each second and improves damage by 2.5% for 30 seconds, which stacks up to 4 times. So when it procs, which there are times where it procs constantly, not only are you getting a lifesteal ability, but you're increasing your damage by 2.5%, which stacks up to 4 times, which is huge. Not very many weapons boost your overall damage. Like Herald does, but it's energy damage. This one is just straight damage. So everything you are doing that does damage gets a boost. So for me, assimilated plasma is up there and among the best plasma in the game. The biggest downside to the assimilated plasma is it's unfortunately only beams. And they look fantastic. I honestly wish that they had the assimilated plasma do like the classic Borg sound from like the shows. Unfortunately, that they didn't get that sound effect in. I would love for that to be the case. I love that the Borg plasma beam sound from the movies and the shows. When it comes to easy to get plasma, oh gosh, what do we have? I mean, there's always basic plasma. Oh yeah, that's right. The new Romulus plasma actually isn't terrible. And it comes with beams and cannons. So, yeah, I mean, you got a free option right here. To target, 2.5% chance, 120 plasma damage per second, which ignores shields for 15 seconds, and a 2.5% chance to minus 10 odd damage resistance rating, which that combination is actually really, really strong. This is good, honestly. I mean, granted, if you are huge into Star Trek, you'll know that Romulans originally didn't use plasma; they used disruptor, which I think why they switched to plasma is just because they give a new faction in the game something different that isn't disruptor, since Klingons already use disruptor. But the new Romulus, they use plasma, and these plasmas are actually really, really good. I do like these plasma. I've been wanting to do a build with them ever since it came out. I just never got around to doing it. What? I think that's the only reputation that's plasma based. It's just that one. When it comes to basic plasma, I can't remember exactly what basic plasma does. Do I even have basic plasma on this character? I do. Let me see. 2.5% chance to do plasma damage, ignore shields. So technically speaking, Romulan plasma does more. Now, with all the different flavors of plasma that exists, you got Ferengi plasma, which is a 2.5% chance plus 20% all damage for 10 seconds, stacks up to 4 times, which is huge. At 4 stacks, also disables for 5 seconds, which is also huge. Disables max once per 30 seconds. So, yeah, no, Ferengi plasma is kind of correct. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, there's isolytic plasma, which is among my all-time favorites. 2.5% chance it pulls enemies near target, confuses mines and torpedoes near target, and it just does a random plasma hit on it. Not a DOT, not an explosion, just a random hit. Which is actually kind of, a breath of fresh air when it comes to plasma. When it comes to reputation, you got quite a few. You got the piezo plasma, which you can get that at tier 6. So there's 2% bonus all damage, plus it gives you the regeneration ability, so, survivability. Experimental Romulan plasma, which does the same thing as the regular ones that you can get. You got the heavy biomatter plasma turret, which is 8472 reputation, which we'll get into that. Don't worry. So like there's a lot when it comes to plasma. And I mean a lot. Like you even have disintegrator plasma, which you get from a story mission, which by the way, they look great for 1. 2, they have a really cool effect when a target dies. So you can get this just playing the story. But yeah, no, there's a lot you can play with when it comes to plasma. There's even ultimate plasma, which also ended up becoming like the best plasma for a little bit, but now it's like a toss between isolytic and ultimate, which sure. I say you use exactly what you want to use. I'm leaning more towards, so if I'm doing beams, honestly assimilated, just because when they look cool. And plasma has 2 quad cannons. One of them comes from, I can't remember if it's a lockbox ship or a R&D promo ship, but it comes from the Gorn Raider, which is one of the reasons why plasma became meta for a while, because that Gorn Raider comes with the best experimental weapon, quad cannon, and trait for plasma. And it was really, really strong. When it comes to the quad cannons, there is a ship you can get from the Zen store that gives you a quad cannon, and I would recommend getting it if you do plan on doing any kind of dual heavy cannon build. A lot of people will sit there and say don't get quad cannons because they're just not worth it. I completely disagree. I want to say it's a tier 5. I want to say it's this. We're going to do it live, and I'm going to check to make sure. Let me see. Can I go dual cannon? Yeah. Okay. I want to say it's this one. I'm pretty sure it's that one, unless it's this one. Yep, right here. Fuses quad plasma cannon, so it's this one. This one that you want, which you can get for free, the lithium. So here's your quad cannon for plasma, and you don't need to get a lockbox ship to get a quad cannon for plasma. It's right here. I want to say it's a tier 4 ship. I want to say. Whether tier 4 or tier 3, we're about to check for you. So when it comes to plasma, you have quite a few, flavors to play with. So I would just say choose one that you think looks the best, and then just have at it. Because you can easily spec into it like no problem. Okay, yeah, it's a tier 4 or tier 3. Wait a minute. What tier is it? Really? Y'all, I'm losing it. Okay, yep, no, it's a captain, all right. But I know for a fact that tier 4 ships don't. Yeah, see, it's just cost of lithium. I think the reason why it's showing the price for Zen thing is because I already had it unlocked. I don't even remember buying them, I'm going to be honest with you. We gotta get the quad cannon, you just gotta get the tier 4. Tactical Warbird. Which, I mean, this ship line, actually, I really do enjoy. I'm not the biggest, like, Romulan fan. I prefer Vulcans over Romulans, but that's just me. But, I mean, this ship line is really solid. Like, there are Romulan ships that I do absolutely enjoy, and then I go out of my way to fly. For example, the Riemann Scimitar. And yes, Riemann Scimitar fights you, which I did a video on. The Derridex, which I did a video on. There's quite a few other Romulan ships I'm planning on doing a video on at some point. Do not worry, I haven't forgotten. Alright, so, plasma. Lots of flavors to choose from. Super crazy fun. So, I'm actually going to do the last two, which is Phaser and Disruptor, at the same time. And there's quite a few reasons as to why I am doing them at the same time. Because the main weapon set in the game, or said energy type, you can literally just get from Discovery Reputation, and it's literally both Phaser and Disruptor. And I'm not gonna joke, like, this is literally the only weapon set you need in reality. However, for those that don't have the Pavin weapon set, or Phaser, yes, you can go straight to Gamma Reputation and get this weapon set if you so chose to, which I wouldn't say no to, because it's Phaser, and the 2-piece set's actually pretty good. And there's also a turret, so you can throw that on there, but the weapon set I would recommend just as much is the Trilithium weapon set. Ignore the torpedo, do not get the torpedo, just get the Omnibeam, turret, and console, and then you're good. The console is a engineering console, which, let me see if I can find it amongst this mess. Right here. Reinforced armaments. 70% power transfer rate, starship hull restoration, and starship hull capacity. But the reason why I'd also recommend this set over anything else is because of the fact that its 2-piece is just really, really good. Fire cycle haste with weapons and plus 15 light speed. Really good. Probably one of the best phaser weapon sets in the game, in my personal opinion. Granted, everyone has their own opinions, and that's totally fine. Or Disruptor. Basically the same thing. The House Martok 2-piece, the console, and the Omnibeam. Don't worry about the torpedo. And it unfortunately does not have a turret. But in terms of, like, getting everything, like, it's the same process. Discovery Reputation, mission weapon set, and that's it. The only thing that does stink about Disruptor is Disruptor doesn't have a reputation Omni-Beam like Phaser. So unfortunately, you can't go get an Omni-Beam for that Omni boost of 2% bonus all damage like you can with Phaser. Unfortunately. Whenever I'm doing my Phaser build, I'm going pure Phaser. I literally, it's a toss-up between which one I use, whether it's the Gamma Reputation or the Trilithium Omni-Beam. Because they're both just good. But when it comes to, the weapon set, when I'm running Phaser or Disruptor, I generally always run the Discovery bare minimum 3-piece. Going pure beam is just going to be the console and the dual beam, but a lot of times I'll run the 3-piece because I do like to run entwined tactical matrices, which is a really good combination if you're trying to do a beam fire will build and you're running a torpedo, because when you activate beam fire will, it procs torp spread, and when you activate torp spread, it procs whatchamacallit, it procs fire at will / scatter volley, which you can do the same thing with a cannon scatter volley build if you so chose to. So Phaser and Disruptor are, in my personal opinion, they're neck and neck, and they have been since like forever. Phaser does have slightly more advantages because a lot of consoles that you do want to run in your builds boost Phaser in general. Like, for example, the inhibiting Phaser Lance that I run, well, it does Phaser damage and it boosts Phaser damage. The Dynamo boosts Phaser damage, but its clicky is good for literally everything. This new console boosts Phaser damage, which comes from the Zen chip, but its clicky, however, is Omni boost. It doesn't care what energy type you're running. Like, technically speaking, Phaser does have a slight better advantage than Disruptor does. But in my personal opinion, Disruptor is right there with it, especially with the new Klingon set, or just the Klingon weapons, because the dual beam and the dual heavy cannons have the same proc, which is, if a target is below 20% hull, 20% chance to instantly destroy weaker enemies, and then a 20% chance to deal 2% max hull as damage to stronger enemies, and a 2.5% chance to -10 damage resistance rating, which, is pretty common as a proc. And this torpedo, like, I literally called it out. This torpedo is going to hit the meta for torp builds, and it already is. Deals additional damage depending on the target's current hull, up to 50% bonus damage at max hull. So that's like, there's no like percentile chance of that proccing. It's constant. The Klingon, like these 3 weapons right here has basically made Disruptor tied with Phaser instantly, if not made Disruptor a little bit better, because these weapons are just so good. They're so good. So good. So when it comes to Phaser, it's Phaser and Disruptor. They are both very easy to spec into. You can do missions, which I'll go ahead and show you which missions that they are. And they're in the same storyline. So for Disruptor, Bushfire, do this mission once, you get the console and the Omni Beam, and you don't have to do the mission again. Fortunately, for the Phaser one, you'd have to do the mission 3 times if you want to get the console, Omni Beam, and turret. So you're gonna have to do that one a couple times. But yeah, it's literally New Frontiers for Disruptor, Bushfire for Phaser, Beyond the Nexus, and then you're good to go. Run Bushfire once, run Beyond the Nexus, bare minimum 2 times. Depending on, which route you're going. You can still technically just run the beam without running the turret with a dual heavy cannon build if you choose to. But I mean, I'd still run the turret. That's just what I recommend. But yeah, I mean, the energy types, they're each one. If you would like for me to do videos on each one that I like to run, definitely leave a comment and let me know. I'll gladly do a video for each build that I do. I mean, granted, here's my Proton one. I decided to forego running the T6 Dyson consoles because I like this setup that I currently have. Are they still worth running? Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, y'all seen my disruptor build. I mean, like I said, the build setup that I have going on is extremely universal. I just switch them out. Like the energy, like the weapons, I just switch out. That's basically it. The build that I run is extremely universal. So I can basically switch out every single energy type. But if you want me to do a more, like, aesthetically, themed build of what I would go for if I was not just running the same build with everything, I will be more than happy to do so. Because I have, like, 12 builds in mind. So, definitely let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know which energy type you'd like me to go into and do a full video on, and I will happily do so. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and God bless, and I will see you all in the next video.